people, rise! Take your sorrow and turn it into anger. Zeon thirsts for the strength of its people. Hail Zeon!
Hey, what's up everybody? Fox coming to you from the Build Cave. So a couple episodes ago on the vlog, I talked about doing a DIY spray booth out of an old dishwasher I had. Here sits the dishwasher. I've seen these built out of just about anything and everything online. Boxes, bins, tubs, totes, cardboard, wood, you name it, I've just about seen it. But I haven't seen anything done out of a dishwasher yet. So let's talk about why I decided to go with the dishwasher. You can get these things for free online, or relatively no money. Craigslist is great. A creepy place, but please, if you're getting anything off Craigslist, go with somebody else. The internet can be a pretty strange place, and Craigslist is just about as weird as it gets. But with that being said, you can find these for free on curbs, the internet, other yard sale sites, whole bunch of places. And the cheaper you can get yourself one of these, the less money you'll spend, because you can go out and buy a spray booth for anywhere from like 60 to 120 bucks. Even you can really spend as much as you want on a spray booth depending on how big, lights, all that stuff. So yeah, back to why I chose the dishwasher. I said relatively low cost to get one, even free in some cases, and to modify this to be a spray booth is not going to be very expensive, and I think it's going to be very, very easy. I'll get into the specifics a little bit later so I can move the camera around and actually show what I'm talking about. Right now, the cost for this, I said the dishwasher I got for free, so I'm at no money right there. And for the basic supplies that I'll need so far, I think I'm in 30 bucks. And after I add lights, I'll probably be looking at maybe like 40 to 50, depending on what I'm going with. Before I show you what I bought so far, I just want to talk about tools really quick. I'm going to use as basic tools as I can, just so anybody can hopefully go out and get them for super cheap, or you might already have them at your house, at your parents' house, friends might have them. All you're really going to need is a screwdriver with a couple different bits. I already know I'm going to need a torque head to get some of the drawers and the door off this. What else you're going to need are a razor knife. I suggest using one of these and not your hobby knife for cutting on this. This plastic's a little bit thicker and you don't want to hurt yourself. Electrical tape. I'm eventually going to go back and solder this stuff, but I want to build it first, make sure it works well, and then I'm going to put a switch in it for convenience. So for the time being, I'm just going to use the electrical tape so I can take it apart super easy without having to cut any of the wiring. What else? Oh yeah, I'm also going to use some of my metal files to clean up some of my cuts, just so I can go back in and fill it to make it super airtight where I'm going to put the fan in. Oh, and also too, before I show the dishwasher, I want to talk about some bonus stuff you'll get out of this. First bonus thing on the list. Now I'm going to have to, as you can see, I'm going to have to put some plow plate or something at the bottom to stop my paintbrushes from coming through. But this is what holds the forks and knives in the dishwasher. And now it's holding my panel lining markers, my metallic markers, my Gundam markers. I got some nippers down here, the paintbrushes right here, and some more nippers right here. I mean, this could hold anything you wanted. Sanding sticks, like I said, markers. Probably be a little awkward for paint just because you'd have to reach down in. And like I said, I am going to have to fix something on the bottom so my paintbrushes don't drop through. But this is a real cool bonus too, because the way this one is latticed, I can put like pegs on something or hooks and actually mount it and hang it in front of me when I'm building, which is nice because right now the storage solution I have for these is a bin. So every time I gotta pull out the drawer, go through it, get what I'm looking for. This, it's all visually right in front of me. I can keep everything neat, organized, a place for everything and everything in its place. The next thing I want to talk about is something I am super excited about. I've looked online for a couple different solutions for holding runners, because when I build, kind of like a madman, I like everything in front of me in a super logical order. I want runner A, runner B, runner C, C1, C2. If you guys have built before, you know what I'm talking about. There's nothing more frustrating than having to go through your runners to cut out a piece this big, to put it back, to have to go grab another runner, cut another piece off, especially if you're building arms and it's build 2 of this, build 2 of that, to have to keep constantly going back and reorganizing your runners. It's a pain. This, my friends, is the bottom rack of the dishwasher. Now I'm obviously going to have to cut this down to size so it fits on my desk, but as you can see, it holds the runners in there really nice. And when I cut this, I'm probably going to cut it in half and take the fronts off, so I'm potentially going to get 2 or 4 out of these depending on the size I want to go with. Now this is a master grade runner in there now. It'll also hold the high grade runners, no problem. I've never built a perfect grade or a mega size, but I'd imagine it would hold those with no problem too. And it's on wheels, so you can move it around super easy. These might come off though, just because I build on a desk, and I don't want it to take the ride off the desk. Alright, now let's talk about things I bought for this so far. I have my duck. This is 8 foot, so I'll be able to set it in the corner over here, go right out to the window. Where is it? Over yonder, right there. Picked up a, I think this is like a 12 or 15 foot electrical cord. It's already cut on the one end, so your positive and your negative and your ground right there to wire into the fan. Like I said, I'm not going to solder this for now, just because I want to go back and put a switch in. Then I'll solder that when it's all finalized. What else? Probably the most important piece, the fan. I picked this up for I think 20 bucks at Lowe's. This is a bathroom exhaust fan. It has another plate that goes over this, but I'm going to cut down an air filter for my AC unit to use. I might still put the grill over it just to make it look pretty and help hold it in place. The other reason I'm not putting a switch in right now is because I actually have it powered on. Once it's wired up, it wires out of the back right here. I'll be able to plug it in to kind of have like an on-off. And I mean, this is just where the air is going to exhaust out of, or vent, excuse me. What else? Yeah, I mean that's everything I've bought so far. So now let's move the camera around and I'll show the dishwasher in all its glory. Okay, so here sits the dishwasher. This is exactly how it was when it came out of the kitchen. Like I said, I want to document everything. The only thing that I've taken out so far was what I showed you guys, which was the bottom dish rack and the like fork and knife basket, whatever the hell it's actually called. So why I thought this was going to be a perfect spray booth. Number one, it's huge. It probably doesn't even need to be this big. If you're somebody who's building in an apartment, might not be for you, depending on what kind of space you have, what you want to do with the space in there, because this is not going to be collapsible, unfortunately. This is going to be pretty permanent, but like I said, it's pretty light, so you can move it around, and it's not too bad. Oh, and it's on wheels too, believe it or not. So it's really, really easy to move. This is obviously going to have to come out, but it's not going to be too bad. Just a couple screws on each side. And what I really like about this too is once I get the whatever this thing is to heat up to help dry the dishes, this turns. I'm going to see if there's some way I can still use this to put parts on when I'm spraying, just so I have a little movable base in there. It's kind of cool. I'm going to see how it works. If it doesn't work, I'm probably just going to get a piece of plastic, cut it down to size to cover this up. The other reason I really like this is it's a dishwasher. It is, I mean, besides the door coming off, the only place it should really want to exhaust is where I put the fan. I shouldn't have to worry about a bunch of stuff trying to blow back towards my face or anything like that. On the top here, you can see it all. It already has a space that's begging to be cut out for a light. Now I'm not going to cut this yet. I want to get the fan in first and see, excuse me, if it's going to be smarter for me to run maybe pucks, like the puck lights on the inside. Maybe one here, two here. Like I said, I haven't 100% decided on the lighting configuration yet, so I'm not going to cut this out. On the back here too, you'll notice I already have like a grid straight from how it came out from the kitchen. What's nice about this, let me pull it back a little bit more, is the exhaust fan that I bought. Just about perfectly matches up to this center square right here. And if depending on where I want to run my switch, whether it be on the outside or the inside of the booth, I have these little holes right here I'll be able to drill through and run a switch through. And depending on what kind of lighting configuration I set up, I have other holes back here I can drill through to run more electric. Let's see, what else do I want to show? Oh yeah, really quick too. Now the motor's still on the bottom of this, so it looks a little ugly, but there are the wheels I was talking about. Oh, that's not going to focus. There we go. Yep, there are the wheels. So it's not too hard to move around. Like I said, I'm not the biggest dude either, and this is not too hard for me to pick up. Once the motor's off, I think that's going to be the majority of the weight, along with the door. So I think it'll even be easier to move. So with all that stuff being said, let's get into taking this guy apart. Alright, so after much aggravation and suffering, the motor is out, and this is, in all honesty, this is going to be the rest of the weight right here. I thought this was going to be a little bit lighter than it was. It actually wasn't that bad to get off here. I've never done anything like this before, and I didn't Google or check the interwebs to see how to take this off. I probably should have in hindsight, because that probably took about 20 minutes to get out of there. What I ended up having to do was actually turn this around really quick. Was cut some of the plastic here on the bottom to get it to go through. So now I'm definitely going to need to put in something down here at the bottom, because I have a big hole, which shouldn't be too bad. I'll probably just get a piece of plastic or something cut. But onwards and upwards. Get this out. Alright, so now everything is totally stripped out of here. It's been a little bit since I've had a chance to work on this. I've been super busy with work, life, getting ready for baby number 2, painting rooms. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen that adventure. So yeah, everything's stripped out of here. We have this hole to fill up in the bottom. I got some foam board sheets from Michael's. They were 2 for $3, so super cheap solution. In the future, I think I'm going to plug this up with foam so I can stick my clips directly into the base while I'm spraying. But for now, just to get it finished, like I said, we'll use the foam board. I also bought an LED light bar for the top. Instead of cutting a hole in this, I want to leave that there so all the air gets drawn out the back. So we'll be mounting this up today. It's battery powered. I think in the future, depending on how this works, I'd like to get something that's probably hardwired in there. But for now, I'm going to use this, see how it goes, because I also have some other light sources down here. Okay. So the fan mount. Like I said before, I'm going to use this as a grid. This first square right here. I'm going to cut this out and see how flush our fan fits in there. Because as you'll see, tilt this back, it's just about a perfect fit. So I'm pretty excited about finishing this up, and I don't think we're going to need to cut too much extra, if any at all. Now, if you have power tools, this might have been a little bit easy with a Dremel or a Sawzall, something along those lines. I was able to use just a regular box cutter. It did cut through here. I had to do some scoring first to get it to go, but as you'll see, I already made some of the cuts. Coming out pretty easy, pretty clean cut with just using the box cutter. So let's finish this up. Okay, so boom. That'll be garbage now. So now let's see how flush our actual exhaust fan fits up against here. Pretty clean. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. I don't want to take too much more off. So I think we'll be left with some gaps if we do that. So now it's time to get our brackets on here and get this mounted. Okay, so now we have our L brackets mounted on, nice and clean. I'll have to tighten them up once we get them on there, but they'll hold for now. So now to get this on here without needing to go back and make any adjustments to it, what I'll do is I'll use a pen, or actually a marker. Where am I going with markers? Okay, so what we're going to do, we got our Sharpie right here. I'm just going to eyeball it. It's not going to be perfect. Alright everybody, so the spray booth is finally done and completed. The only thing I'm going to look to replace and upgrade in the future is the base. Right now it's just a piece of foam board, but it'll work for now. So just to go over things really quickly, quick little recap. Used to be a dishwasher. The racks mounted here and here, took those out. Motor was on the bottom, took that out. The doors off, all the electronics, hardware, wires, all that stuff, totally gone, cut out. Let's see, what else? Cut our hole for the exhaust fan in the back. You can see the mounting hardware right there. I have a cover for this. The cover's off for now. Wired it through the back directly to a cord right here. So let's turn it on. Right, so there it is. You can hear it. It works very well. I'm actually surprised at how much air it pulls. Like I said, eventually gonna have to put the guard in there. Might have to plug up these holes on the side. I'm undecided for right now. But yeah, the airflow out of here is crazy. It is much better than I thought it was going to be. Overall, I'm very impressed and very happy with this. All told, the dishwasher was free. The fan was like 20 bucks. The cord was like 5 or 10. and the light was like another $5 or $10. The hardware all together cost me $2 to mount it. So yeah, this all told saved me with shipping probably close to like $60 or $70. Wasn't very time consuming. You can do it yourself in probably like an hour and a half to 2.5 hours, depending on how handy you are, what kind of dishwasher, how much it fights with you. The only thing that really fought with me was the motor. That was a little tricky to get out, so I eventually just forewent trying to make it nice and cut it out. So I have the big hole down there now. The door was pretty easy to get off. The racks were extremely easy to get off. So if this is something you want to do to save yourself some time and money, highly recommend it. I'm overall pretty pleased with this, and I can't wait to start using it to paint in the basement. Take it easy, guys.